Now, the editor of The Times has apologised after one of his journalists hacked into a detective's email account. The unauthorised access allowed the newspaper to unmask a policeman who'd written an anonymous blog about his work. Recalled the Leveson inquiry into journalistic ethics, James Harding said he sorely regretted the incident. Kieran Jenkins reports.
Another heavyweight day at the Leveson inquiry, the editor of The Times newspaper taking centre stage.
So the next witness is Mr. Harding, who's being recalled.
James Harding came to account for a 2009 story in which his newspaper unmasked the blogger Nightjack, then a serving police officer. Richard Horton was outed against his will. We now know a Times journalist hacked his email account to discover his identity.
Lord Justice Leveson, if you'll allow me, there is one thing I would like to say, which is in the last couple of weeks, I've learned a great deal more about what happened in this incident. As editor of the paper, I'm responsible for what it does and what its journalists do. And so I want to say at the outset that I sorely regret the intrusion into Richard Horton's email account by a journalist then in our newsroom. I'm sure that Mr. Horton and many other people expect better of the Times. So do I. So on behalf of the paper, I apologise.
Nightjack won the first ever Orwell Prize for blogging. It was a brutally honest account of frontline policing, and its author sought an injunction in court to protect his identity. He lost, and the Times published. But the judge had no knowledge whatsoever the blogger's email had been hacked. The inquiry's QC imagined what his reaction may have been.
Well, it would be obvious to a lawyer, but you're not a lawyer, that Mr. Justice Eadie could not have been told that the email account had been unlawfully hacked into, because had he been told that, his reaction might have been rather different. So you would have got to know about it, because he might have exploded.
James Harding said he was told about the hacking after the case was heard, but before judgment of the injunction was passed. What he didn't do was tell the judge, who would later rule in the Times' favour.
You know, I have to own my responsibility and my failure here. As I say in the statement, I can see now that we paid insufficient attention to this matter at the time. We did. We paid it insufficient attention.
A bad day then for the Times, another News International paper drawn into the hacking scandal. But if there's such a thing as a good day for hacking victims, this was it. 5 of them had brought a case against the Metropolitan Police for failing to tell them their phones had been hacked. Scotland Yard now admits it had breached a legal obligation to warn victims. They too now have an apology.